Hello everyone. So now today we are going to discuss some questions from communication and we are going to tape Skinner. Here is this. And the topic is communication, concept, nature and process. So we are here to discuss some questions based on communication which we never discussed before. So ये पेज नंबर 181 where we are now पेज नंबर I don't know exactly. Page number okay, we are going to start. When we say that communication is international, it means, so when we say that communication is international, it mean what? It mean sender consciously intend to affect the behavior of receiver of the message. Communication is a transparent understanding of that was meaning. Which of the following meaning is important in communication? Okay, which of the following can be termed as the context of the communication? That was the a physical and psychological environment for the conversion. Physical and psychological environment is important. Okay, which of the following Berlow's linear SMCR? SMCR is the Berlow's. Wait a minute. Yeah. So next, who among the following has stated that people know each other and themselves only through communication? It is said by the George Herbert Mead, the ability to communicate effectively is what that is can be learned. If it is assumed that communication has no beginning or end, it is term is process. The essential component of the communication are what? That was a source, message, interference, channel, and receiver, feedback, and context. Which of the following applicable contexts of interpersonal communication? Ninth is what? That is D, that is irreversible. Two-way communication becomes effective if B is always. A message can only be deemed effective when 11th is C, that was understood by receiver and produce the desirable response. Learning to communicate with other is key to, that was 12th is C, establishing rewarding relationship. During the communication process, the message is converted to a symbolic form. 13 is B, that is encoding one's own description as a person is. 14 is A, that is self-concept. Which of the following term describes the communication between two people that involves sending receiving of the message? That is D, that was a dyadic. Which of the following is the essence of the effective communication? 16 is B, that is the feedback. People who engage in frank and open expression of their feeling are considered. What is considered? That is assertive. A low context culture is what? Low context culture is B. Most of the information is explicitly stated in the verbal message. A high context culture is much of the information is unspoken. A good communicator is one who offers what he offers plentiful of information. Which of the following step would you consider first for an effective communication? 21 is what? That is C. Specify the objective of the communication. The primary channel used by the individual to communicate with others are what? That is D. Sight and sound. Encoding is important to. 23 is C, that was the produce the message. Encoding is important to produce a message. Communication will be effective. 24 is D, that is if it reaches the receiver as intended by the sender. That is important. Which of the three components are part of the human communication process? 25 is C, that is message, noise, and feedback. Words are what? 26 is C, that is symbols. Emotions are what? 27 is D, that was typed symbol that communicate facial expression. In the communication process, to encode means 28 is A, that is translate ideal into a code. A person is more likely to use eye contact, while 29 is A, that is listening. Now, feedback is what? Feedback is a situation in which the sender and the receiver exchange the information. That is the feedback. Listening is said to be adversely affected by. Listening will be affected by D, that is all of above. Which of the following term is closely related to the feedback? 32 is what? So 32 is C. That was cybernetics is closely related to the feedback. That was the cybernetics. Feedback is a listener's. What is the feedback? 33 is C, that is verbal or non-verbal response to a message. That is the feedback. Okay, when we try to organize detail in our mind, then that message will be process complex information and then categorize it. Process the complex information and then categorize it. Which is feedback is newspaper communication. So 35 is C, that was letters to the editors. To decode a message is 236 is what? That is the interpretate a message. A message is a signal that serves. 37 is B, stimuli for a receiver, that is the message. The objective definition of the word is 38 is C, denoting the meanings. That is the objective definition is denotive the meanings. The subjective meaning of the words is 39 is D, that is connotative meaning. So objective is the denotive and subjective is the connotative meaning. Which of the following explain the feedback? So 40 is C, that is verbal and non-verbal receiver response. That is the feedback, verbal and non-verbal receiver response. An effective communication does not require, first does not require. 41 is D, that is the handsome personality not required. Which of the following is the term genomics is used for interpretation of message? Genomics is used for, that is time. In the communication process, a receiver is what? 43 is what? So it's 43 is B, decode a message. An example of a communication channel is what? 44 is C, face-to-face conversation is a communication. The way one interpreted information around oneself is what? 45 is C, that is related to the one's value, belief and past experiences. Listening is what? 46 is A, that is maybe a complex process involving many steps. The responding step of listening is what? 47 is C, can be verbal or non-verbal both. One of the most important communication skill is what? 48 is A, that is active listening. A technique that might be used by an active listening is 49 is A, that is paraphrase the speaking meaning. Effective listening is what? 50 is D, that is confirming one's understanding of a message, that is effective listening. ये पैसे पैसे क्यों कर रहा है? So no. Again page number 181 and we want to go 4.25. so where is 4.25? 4.25 The primary channel used by individual to communicate with others is what? That is 22 is D, sight and sound. Encoding is important for, that is produce the message. Communication will effective if 24 is D, if reaches the receiver is intended by the sender. Which of the three components are part of the human communication? So 25 is C, that was the message, noise and feedback. Words are what? 26 is C, symbol. Emotions are what? 27 is D, type symbol that communicate facial expression. In the communication to encode means 28 is A, that is translate idea into a code. A person is more likely to use eye contact, while 29 is A, that is listening. Feedback is what? 30 is the a situation in which the sender and the receiver exchange information. Listening is said to be adversely affected by. 31 is D, that is all above. Which of the following term is closely related to the feedback? 32 is C, that was the cybernetics. Feedback is a listener's. 33 is C, that is verbal or non-verbal response to a message when we try to recognize detail in our minds. 34 is B, that is process complex information and then categorize it, which is feedback in newspaper communication. 35 is C, that was letters to the editor. The decode the message is what? 36 is D, interpreted a message. A message is signal that serves as. 37 is B, that is stimuli for the receivers. The objective definition of a word in its. 38 is C, that is denotive meaning. The subjective meaning of a word is. 39 is D, that was the connotative meaning. Which of the following explain the feedback 40 is C, that is verbal non-verbal receiver response. And effective communication does not require. 41 is D, that was the handsome personality not required. For which of the following word the term genomics is used for the interpretation of the message? 42 is C, that is the time. In the communication processes, receiver is what? 43 is B, that record a message. An example of communication channel is what? 44 is C, that is face-to-face conversion. The way one interpreted information around oneself is that was related to one's value, belief, past experiences. Listening is what? 46 is A, may be complex process involving many steps. The responsibility step of listening was what? That was can be verbal, non-verbal. One of the most important communication skill is what? 48, that is A, active listening. A technique that might be used by the active listener is what? That is paraphrase the speaker's meaning. Effective listening includes 50 is D, confirming one's understanding of a message. A classification of body movement is called about the kinesis, movement of the face that convey the emotions. 52 is A, that is display. The touch is important element of. 53 is B, interpersonal communication. Which of the following is less important in the context of effective communication? 54 is C, that is attractive personality of the speaker. Which of the following statement is the correct? 55 is A, communicators should be have a fine senses. Which of the following are the part of the active listening? 56 is D, all of above. Evaluate the listening is successful when. 57 is D, none of above. One which be effective communicator if. 58 is C, that was is a very clear about what one communicates. Effective communication will make the receivers. 59 is D, that is think about it. Effective communication take place when. 60 is B, that was the message design incorporate the audience. Which of the following is not a successful communication? 61 is C, one who know a lot but is somewhat reserved in its attitude. The most important aspect of communication is what? 62 is D, that was all of above. The process of communication enhanced through. 63 is D, all of above. Which of the following can help the most in the enhancing the effectiveness of active listening? That is developing empathy with the sender. Which of the following statement is not connected with the communication? 65 is D, that is telepathy is technological. Postmodernism is associated with. 66 is D, that is television. In communication, the language is what? 67 is B, that is the verbal code. Media that interconnected series of communication points are referred to as. 68 is A, that is network media. Writing in a personal diary or the otherwise recording one's thought and feeling are example of. 69 is what? That is A, mediating intrapersonal communication, that is writing a personal diary, that is intrapersonal communication. In communication, chatting in internet is what? 70 is A, that is verbal communication. Interpersonal communication occurs only when. 71 is A person exchange idea with other one or a unique individual. Non-verbal message is what? 72 is D, important for a listener to understand, that is non-verbal that can be understand. Intrapersonal communication is what? 73 is A, learn about oneself. Communication between two or more people is what? 74 is B, that was the interpersonal communication, two or more people. In interpersonal communication, ethics are what? 75 is A, that is important. Which of the following is also termed as the mediated communication? 76 is D, that is mass communication. Public communication tend to occur within a more. 77 is D, formal structure. Non-verbal communication includes the shaking hands. Leadership's role first emerged in which of the following kind of communication? 79 is B, that is small group communication. A negative reaction to a mediated communication described as. That is A, that is flag. Another term used for the interpersonal communication is what? 85 is C, that is the dynamic communication. Non-verbal message interpretation is what? Non-verbal is the depend upon the cultural context. Audio conferencing may be classified among the following types. So 83 is what? That was B, that was two-sided verbal, that is okay. Recording a television program on a VCR, that is A, that is time shifting. For conditions influence the effectiveness of encoded message skill, attitude and knowledge. 85 is A, that is social cultural system. Communication becomes circular when. 86 is A, that is the encoder becomes an decoder. The information function of a mass communication is described as. That is C, that is surveillance. Disturbance that interferes with the transmission, receipt or feedback of a message. 88 is D, noise. The disruption in the communication process is called 89 is C, noise. The most powerful barrier of the communication is B, confusion on the part of teacher. Which of the following not true about the grapevine? So not true is what? 91 is D, that is it is a preferred over formal communication. Level C of the effectiveness of communication defined as 92 is the A, that is a channel noise. All of the following are barrier to effective communication except 93 is A, that is absence of the noise. Informal transmission of information or the filtered information is called 94 is B, that is grapevine. An example of psychological noise is what? 95 is A, that is feeling hungry. A speaker using complex terms. 96 is C, that is semantic noise. A noise is communication process is what? 97 is B, that is the okay. 98 is what? 98 a fixed categorical impression of a group of people based on the predetermined set of. 98 is C, stereotyping. The goal of perception checking is 99 is C, to further explore the thought and feeling for others. Which of the characteristics of prejudice? 100 is D, all of both. The main assumption of the primary effect is what? 101 is the most information is always that comes first. Primary, most information is always that comes first, that is primary. In communication, a major barrier is what? 102 is A, that was the audience का attitude. If a student raise a hand to speak in a class, 103 is B, that is implain. The psychological aspect of the classroom are best managed by. 104 is a class teacher. Now next one is books can be powerful source if content is illustrate. Which of the following statement is not correct? That is a good communicator cannot be a good teacher. Which of the following cannot be a good way in promoting literacy? 107 is C, that is providing the material on TV and film projector. Which of the following are the main constitute of the paralanguage? 108 is D, that was the tone, pitch, quality, rate. A teacher will become an effective communicator if. 109 is B, she helps student get meaning out of what he teaches. Communication in the class fails because. 110, that is B, the teacher is monotonous in delivering the message. Which of the following will make the communication more effective? 111 B, using multi-sensory appeal. The facial expression of a student relate to which element of communication? 112 is A, that is message. Which of the following will not hamper effective communication? That is C, precise statement. Which of the following communication aspect does not interrupt the communication? 114 is D, focus, illustrate and exaggeration. General like entry written in the individual and post, and that is A, that is the web block में लिखी जाती है. According to the Mabrelian, the respective contribution of words, tone of voice and body language in overall communication is what? That is 7, 38, 55%. Paraphrase is the skill that is absolutely necessary, that is listening के लिए. The transmission of the cultural from one generation to the another is called, that is B, that is inculturation. Leakage Q refer to 119, that is a facial expression that people have misread. A person have a very advanced sense of what is socially appropriate and always knows what to say in every social context. 120 is D, that is pragmatism. The Sanders communication process have very good grammar. 121 is C, synthetic, the location where the internet user can gain wireless access. 122 is the Wi-Fi hotspot. Which of the following are the true contexts of the paraphrasing? 123 is C, that was it is basically about the stating in your own words and opportunity to find out what message is to be getting. An example of the asynchronous medium is 124, that was D, that is newspaper. In communication, connotative words are what? 125 is D, cultural. A message beneath a message is labeled at. 126 is the subtext. In analogous mass communication, stories are what? That are static stories. The ability to understand, communicate with, motivate, support the people, that is known as the soft skill. So this was the whole question which was based upon the chapter which was communication, and it will help a lot while